Welcome back to GBGuns Armory, the series where we look back at stuff that we reviewed in the past and give some more thoughts and feels on it, since the regular reviews are pretty much performance and fact based, as well as discuss any relevant topics that come up from the gun. Remember, my intent is for this to become sort of the Reddit thread for these guns and these styles of guns, so that since this stuff's been out for a while, chances are you've seen it, maybe owned it, shot it, etc. You can share your experiences and we can get some real thoughts out there, since initial reviews are just initial reviews, and usually when I come out with those, nobody else has shot it yet, or very few people have. Today is the Rock Island BBR 3.10. An interesting concept that I really wanted to like, and I really struggled with. To give you an idea what this is, it is a 3.1 inch barreled, all steel, double stack 45, little tiny 10 round magazine, and it seems like a great idea. I kind of like the size, but I had a couple problems with it. One of them comes from the size, in that, as you can see, and we do have great texturing on the front strap there, I'm lucky to get 2 fingers on it, and that's about it. The other issue I had with it is, for a traditional 1911 style ride the safety with your thumb shooting, that causes gap in my hand right here, and as a result doesn't depress the grip safety. I have to bring my hand down here to engage the safety. A very sharp corner back here that, for me, and this is a personal thing, but it fits right into a sensitive spot on the hand, making for really sharp recoil impulse. The weight should help. It's a freaking hefty gun, but the weight also means that it weighs a lot for carry. It's a very discreet size, very packable size, but you also have a 3.1 inch barrel chambered in 45, and just like how I harp on 9mm needing a 4 inch barrel for proper performance unless you have specialty ammo, 45 was intended for a 5 inch barrel, and I learned real quick the hard way when going to bowling pin matches with a 3.8 inch barrel 45 that 45 really suffers when you go below a 5 inch barrel, unless, once again, you've got specialty ammo, which I couldn't afford at the time. The 3.8 inch 45 has less energy, less muzzle energy, than a 4 inch 9mm. That is a hard fact. So when you go to something like this, 3.1 inch, even shorter, you're really giving up energy. You're risking the performance of your hollow points as a defensive tool. If the round doesn't have enough velocity, it doesn't open and perform as intended. And this thing's not really fun to shoot, so it's not exactly a range gun either. It's obviously meant for carry. Now, Rock Island, their quality can be hit and miss. I've had great Rock Island guns. I've had Rock Island guns that I had to send back and just give up on. This one was put together pretty well. You do have an adjustable target rear sight, which is nice. Nice high beaver tail. They did a lot of things well on this, but it also is kind of a why thing. Like, if this is really meant for carry, why is that edge so stinking sharp? Why use steel instead of aluminum for the lower half? And if you're going to go this short of a barrel, at least do it in a caliber that still works in that short of a barrel. 3.1 inch 45, it's just kind of odd. The magazines, interestingly enough, if the camera will focus on it, if we can catch it in the glare, are marked Llama, which I find interesting because the Llama brand, or Llama, was, I believe, originally Spanish. It was then purchased by the Metro Arms company, the guys who make Metro Arms and SPS and American Classic, currently imported by TriStar, are also in the Philippines, where Rock Island is. So I'm wondering, is this even a Rock Island gun? I mean, it's obviously labeled as such, or are they just getting the magazines from them? Why isn't Llama making it? I mean, there's so many questions on there, but this is just one of those guns that I guess if you don't know much about shooting or ballistics or defense and don't plan on shooting much or even really carrying it much, could have some appeal. But otherwise, it's just kind of, for me, it's a big why. The original reviews on this thing were somewhat popular, and I felt terrible for Rock Island because I don't like the gun, and lots of people watched it and were very excited about it. But to me, I mean, heck, I've got a nice dark spot on my hand right there just from gripping. That's without recoil and only a 2-finger hold on a short 45. If it were up to me, I'd say bring this thing back, but let's go aluminum to shed some weight on the frame, and then make it 9mm or maybe 22 TCM. 22 TCM is one of Rock Island's, well, it's a Rock Island or Arms Corps specific cartridge. I don't believe it ever got SAMI spec'd, so no one else makes it, but it's a really fun round, super low recoil, and in my tests has about the same energy as 9mm. So for something like this, I think it really has a home, because if you took the recoil out of this thing, it would be shootable. Still, I'd want to change the mainspring housing to something that doesn't have, I mean, I could use that to scrape ice off my car in the wintertime. It's a really sharp edge back there. But then we might still have at least some terminal performance capability. Of course, the problem with 22 TCM is because it's not manufactured by anyone else, there are only 2 or 3 projectile loads. Granted, the soft hollow point is what I shot in the gel, and that was out of a 5-inch barrel, but the expansion was about, it's decent. It was 9mm. The penetration and the energy was definitely 9mm-ish. So maybe there's potential there, but it's a unique build. It's kind of a fun concept. The practicality of it, however, really leaves me wondering what was going on, and unfortunately, I gotta say, when I see companies market something like this, it makes me wonder how much they really know and or care about their consumers. Because on paper and laying on a desk or at the gun shop, if you don't know anything about ballistics or shooting guns that you can't get your whole hand on and things like that, this might appear to be a great carry option aside from the weight, which means there's probably some people out there that went for it. And I mean, no one wants to get shot with anything, but I'd prefer, especially you, our viewers, if you're going to use a defensive tool, that it be an effective tool. And I really call the effectiveness of this into question. What do you guys think about this thing? Had you seen one before? Did you ever watch the original reviews of it? Did your opinion or potential opinion change of it from this video? And how could you see this platform be fixed? I really think 9mm aluminum is the way to go. I'd like to see it. It'll be interesting to see at SHOT coming up here pretty soon if Rock Island has still offering this or considering it, or if they made any changes to it. It was a couple years ago, but it's just one of those odd guns that kind of makes me say why. I'm also curious to hear if you guys have encountered any other why guns in your experiences. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.